Will we be on national television?
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Broadcasted everywhere.
No.
So where are you from, like all of you? I know you're a nomad, but.
I raised my
names.
I raised my family in Alaska.
Wait, before we start, you just gotta, can you tell us who you are? Your name.
Your name?
You go
Where
first.
you were
You're
born.
on the end.
Oh, my name is Leona Dolman from Buffalo, New York.
Leah Ravenstar, Alaska, California, etc.
Irene Kazone from Brooklyn, New York.
So how did you wind up in South Carolina? From all
Which
these-
one?
All of you.
Me?
Yeah, all of you.
I have a niece out here.
Okay.
I went to high school over in Barnwell, so when I retired, I was looking for the cheapest place to live, and I headed for Barnwell. It's not so cheap, so I came to Columbia.
I came down here because my oldest son was going to work in forestry, and I had lost my husband, and so I came down here with my youngest child.
I have a question. I'm just curious, did any of you have the opportunity to dance or take dance classes growing up, or is this your first
I can't
experience
hear.
with the movement class?
Take dance lessons?
Or any sort of, I'm sorry, I said, have any of you had previous experience with any dance classes as either a little girl, or is this your first experience with a movement or dance class?
Me in California, I did senior tap and jazz, and I had a ball. I want to do it again.
Well, a little town I grew up in Iowa, when I was little, my friends all took dance lessons, so I used to sit with the parents and watch them. Then I'd go home and do everything they did in my backyard. And that's how I learned to dance.
I took tap and acrobatic when I was a child.
Yeah, during the time period where you guys were probably young, the Arthur Murray School was giving a lot of ballroom classes.
Oh.
Was there any of that going on in the communities that you were growing up in?
Yeah, I love ballroom. My niece teaches it and back home, and I want to take some lessons out here. It's expensive though, but I love the ballroom. I can do average ballroom dance.
I think my introduction to ballroom was the YWCA gave some ballroom classes. Yeah.
We had some lessons when we were getting ready to graduate from elementary school so that we could have a dance at our graduation party, because most of the boys wouldn't dance.
Why do you think that is, that men don't really want to dance, but as women we feel this connection to want to move in that way?
I don't get it. They're missing a lot of goodies, a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment, and the nice women they meet.
If they want to meet you bad enough, they'll learn real quick.
Well, actually, I was a teenager, and so was my brother during the beginning of World War II, and that's when jitterbug became popular. And my brother would come over with his friends, and he would want me to teach him to dance.
At that time, I think
So-
a lot of men did dance.
Yes.
Guys
Yeah.
danced at that time. I don't know what happened to them.
My best time of my life learning to do ballroom, though, was when I was 18 and graduated from high school. I went to Brownsville, Texas. And we used to work from 4 in the afternoon till midnight, and then we'd go over the border to the Mexican nightclubs. So I learned how to rumba and cha-cha and samba and all that, from the Mexican people, and that was great. That was a great summer.
Actually, I think we danced more than people your age do today.
I think so.
We were always having dances.
Yeah, that's a part of our culture that's kind of dissipated. Younger people don't really dance like they used to. Yeah, and it was cultural. Like every culture had its own folk dance, and so it was just integrated into life. It was a part of what you did, like singing and.
Yeah, I'm real partial to the Latin dances.
You know, World War II, my sisters, and they, every Wednesday night, they had a dance in between their jobs. They were out all night and went to work the next day,
Mhm.
plus the weekend. And, you know, there were a lot of soldiers and men around at the time. They had packed, and it was nice. They could always go and have a good time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Don't, the senior center here, you go to a dance, and there's all women, and the few men are there. I don't know what to say. I don't go there.
Their
The
wives
music
have
is
short
great. They have a
leashes
great
on.
band. But that's-
I haven't been over there.
I never went to the dances, but I know well I went in once, but I didn't stay. But that's what's there. The music is good.
Some questions from you guys?
And line dances are great, though. They are great. You can just go and do them anytime by yourself. Yeah, we do them here. And we have some good entertainment every so often, and yeah, we have some. I dance all night until they quit. And then we had Elvis over there across the street, and I danced over there. I got some pictures of Elvis just last week.
Yeah, it's interesting because tango has this new like thriving sort of community that's interested in tango dancing now. And we were just in New York City, and in the parks they have like these tango lessons that you can go and take, and you can just come up off the street
Wow.
and start tango
Wow.
dancing. And it's like it's a way of meeting people. It's a way of burning some calories and getting rid of the stress of the day. You see people with briefcases who just have their briefcases on the side, and they come for like 20 minutes, and then they leave and continue with life.
Well, from what I understand, there was a lot of dancing down around Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
That's
the
where they
shag.
had that shag,
Shag.
which was a lot like our jitterbug.
Yeah. You guys grew up with the shag?
Yeah,
Did you do it?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care for the shag. I like jitterbug.
shag,
I like that.
jitterbug, the double
Yeah,
lindy.
It's almost like the jitterbug, but I like
All of those real peppy ones.
Well, they had the the big band music, which was always great for dancing. Some of this music today is not so good for dancing.
Yeah.
You can jump around to it a little.
Yeah.
Back home, years ago in our neighborhood bars, we had some excellent bands, and we didn't even realize it. We took it for granted.
Yeah.
They were good.
Right. Yeah. And you guys are used to having real music played, not
I know.
electronic or digitally mastered music. It's real people playing real instruments, giving you real energy to feed off of.
Well, in my 20s, we had a lot of jukebox,
Yes.
Yeah, too. That was
a lot of jukebox,
That's right.
and a good variety of clubs with different types of. I like variety. So yeah, they had a lot of different. You could go to a Western place one weekend, and go to a Latin place the next weekend, and that was great.
Well, they had everybody had phonographs then, and they had the big
They got 'em back.
records. Then they came out with those 45s. Today,
33s and 45s.
You have CDs.
8-tracks. You guys remember 8-tracks?
Oh yes. I've got a wall of CDs. Just about everything. I've got my own karaoke machine.
Yeah.
But you guys have seen music really change a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, she'll call it music. It's not music like we grew up with, though. Right.
No.
Singers don't sing, they scream and holler. There's a few out there that, you know, are really good.
I scream and holler. I scream and holler.
But then when you guys were growing up, your parents were probably saying the stuff that you were listening to was not music.
Oh.
No.
We even liked their music.
What?
And my oldest son, he likes the music I like, so it was something that everybody could enjoy.
I like the saxophone. It's so relaxing to me. The sax, oh, that's great.
And I like the steel guitar. Sleepwalk. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I never heard that one.
Oh, that is the sexiest song ever recorded. Santos and Johnny, look it up. Santos and Johnny Sleepwalk on the steel guitar. It's totally instrumental. Woo. But have someone you really like around you at the time.
I can see why you were in the theater.
Who, me?
Yeah, didn't you say you did some plays?
Oh, a lot of
Yeah.
I danced with a benefit group too. I was the only half-breed, the rest were black girls. And there were 7 of us. And we danced for charities in Anchorage. All kinds of. The Charleston is one I remember distinctly we did for a group of people.
What do you mean by half-breed?
I'm half Indian.
Oh.
I can see it.
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
My hair was your color, pitch black before it turned this way. Anyway, no, I'm Cherokee and Sioux and French and Irish.
That's a good combination.
I'm a mess, in other words.
Great.
Well, why don't you now tell us about you?
Yeah.
Well, can I ask?
Yeah.
So, did you guys have dance like in your schools when you were growing up?
Sock hops. We had sock hops.
And you're gonna have to explain what a sock hop is?
Well, yeah, I don't
When you
know.
pulled off your penny loafers and you danced in your bobby socks. Sock hop. And that was the shag and jitterbug and Lindy era.
How about the Charleston?
Yeah. Oh, if you could get anybody else to do it, you mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have music in my school when I went to school.
We had sock hops too.
I mean,
Recorded
dances. They
music
had
with
music
loudspeakers.
classes, but
Yeah.
not dances.
Barnwell couldn't afford to hire live music, I guess. Not in those days. I graduated in '53. I know, that's a long time ago.
Well, unfortunately, during my years in high school, World War II started. And then a lot of the men left school and joined the service. And, so we didn't really have any dancing at that time, not in school.
Have you guys ever heard of the WPA?
Yeah, my brothers, there were no
Yes.
jobs, so at the time, there was no work, so they went there to get something to do, plus a little money to send to my mother. Yeah. That was a blessing for a lot of people, because there was no job, just none.
And they also had the CCC. Did a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember air raid sirens. Do you remember the air raid
Yes.
sirens? We had to shut off all the lights in the house and the city and
Yes.
everything. Oh,
I don't remember that.
don't remember
Right.
that?
Well, the WPA was really interesting for the arts too, because it supported a lot of artists still being able to make work during the war, which is why a lot of it thrived during that time period, or was sustained during that time period, because there was just no money.
Right?
So it was
Big
a
help.
huge, huge help.
When they said no money, they meant no money.
times.
I had it all.
Oh,
So you guys were around during the radical 60s. What were you doing during those times?
raising babies.
Not me, I didn't get married or have kids, so
I was in California,
just there.
the first part,
working.
and then went to Alaska. Yeah.
So you
Alaska
never-
was
sorry,
great.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Alaska was great. Alaska's great. Get a chance, go.
Yeah, I've been to Anchorage. Performed at the Anchorage Arts Center.
Oh, did you? I did plays
Mm.
for ACT, Anchorage Community Theater, and for the Theater Guild up there all the time. Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
And icy.
Huh?
Cold and icy.
Not really. I used to wear my bikini in the summer.
No, you did not.
I did too. In Anchorage, you can swim in Mirror Lake. It's 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everybody did. We all had bikinis. You know, I was in my 40s, but I had a good figure then. You know. But yeah, my kids, my girls, and I had used to crocheted bikinis.
I was gonna say, I don't remember bikinis.
You don't? Oh.
No, you wore a one-piece bathing suit.
I did in high school. Yeah, we had one-piece bathing suits all through high school. But I came of age in my 40s.
Late teenager.
And so you never married?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
No.
So what were you
I'm
doing during the
I'm
radical
gonna do it
60s?
now.
What were you doing during the radical 60s? Where were you living? Or?
Well, I've been to Buffalo most of my life. Then I did go to California for a long time, went to college out there, and I took music, and nothing special. I love California. It's wonderful. I love it there.
Yeah, I lived on the beach.
Yeah, well, you
on the
can go
beach.
anywhere and find your own climate. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. You know, clean.
San Diego County's got beach. It's got valley, inland valley. It's got
Beautiful.
foothills. It's got mountains, and it's got desert all
You
in one
name it,
county.
they have it. I mean, you can pick what you want.
It's very crowded now, isn't it? California.
I never noticed. I
Well-
like people. So
Well, how long ago were you out there?
I came out
I
here.
don't know. Depends where you live, I suppose.
I came out here in 2002.
Well, I think since then it's gotten pretty
Well, my
crowded.
mom's still there. She's
Where?
90.
Yeah.
She'll be
San
99
Diego?
in January.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she can still do a mean hula.
Wow.
Bright red hair and the hula. She's a pistol.
And what were you doing in the radical 60s?
Me?
Yeah, were you in Brooklyn?
Yes, I was in Brooklyn until 1966. I was 39 when I left Brooklyn. And I remember at the time about Kennedy being shot, and that was a terrible time. I was raising children, and I had been in not South Carolina, North Carolina during World War II, when my husband was stationed at Marine Air Base in Cherry Point, North Carolina. And I used to tell people back home, they have the strangest trees here. They're real skinny and have a little something on top. And I never thought I would someday be living in the South. But Brooklyn at that time was a great place for children. You were safe, you could go anywhere, get on first there were trolleys, then there were buses, you get the subway, and your parents didn't have to take you all over, you could go by yourself.
That
Where
was
in Brooklyn?
Hmm?
Where in Brooklyn?
I lived in mostly the Flatbush section of Brooklyn. I always lived not far from the ocean most of my life. And In fact, I had family living over in Breezy Point that had that terrible disaster from that storm Sandy.
Yeah.
And I often went there as a child. It was wonderful. And we had a lot more freedom, and I think it was better for us because we could be more independent and, you know, go where we wanted to and be safe.
So how many Nathan's hot dogs have you eaten?
Um,
How many Nathan's hot dogs have you eaten?
Oh, I don't know. They're good though. In fact, my daughter was in Brooklyn recently. She was doing some work for her church. She lives in Massachusetts. And they went to help at these food shelters and homeless shelters. And she didn't grow up in Brooklyn. She grew up in Long Island. And she said she was riding the trains all over, and she did go to Coney Island, to Nathan's. But it you know, really was a wonderful time, I think.
I love that heavy Brooklyn accent, the New York accent. I love that. Yeah, real heavy.
Anything else then? Sure, it's your last opportunity. You wanna add anything? Okay.
I'd just like to add that art and music, I don't know what I'd do. In grade school, I played piano, clarinet, viola, took voice lessons. Then I've done a lot of drama, poetry. I owned and operated a ceramic studio in Anchorage, and I made my living in my 50s and 60s selling my Native American beadwork all over the country in galleries and Native art shows. And I stopped community theater only because I backed out. I couldn't memorize big segments anymore. And it broke my heart. But to take a part and think that you might forget part of the lines, you put every other cast member at risk. So I dropped out. When I was in Barnwell, I did 2 plays and then no more. I miss it. Stick with it. It's a great life. The arts, any art, whether it's music or dance or visual or poetry even, anything, ceramics like I did, and stick with it. It's a beautiful world. And do it as long as you can.
Well, you know, when in my generation, women stayed home usually. We went to work after high school until we married, and then raised children. But that didn't end our lives. We did go to work eventually. We did go back to school at times. We did different volunteer work, and it really gives you a broad scope of everything in life. So, you know, it doesn't mean that we just stayed home, raised children, and that our lives were boring, because we also always wanted to learn more and do more, and did.
I think it's great, the old school, where the mother was always home with her kids where she belongs. I believe that. Out working, they go have babies and they go to school, and they're never home. They got kids to take care of. I like the old school where the parents were home, and they didn't have to be going everywhere.
And that's so interesting because you didn't have that life at all.
I did.
Oh, you did? You had kids?
No, but my mother, I mean, our family, she was always there. Always, always, always.
Well, I raised my 4 on my own. No child
my mother
support, no
did too.
welfare, no husband, and I had to work. You know, have to work. So,
My mother did too. And we didn't have anything, but we were all together and content. You can't replace that.
That's very true, because we grew up in the time either during or right after Depression or during wartime, and we didn't have all the choices that you have today. And but yet, as I said, we experienced a lot.
And we all worked and played together
yes,
Right.
yes.
and had a good time.
It was go, go, go 24 hours a day.
Right.
That's sick. You got more, you got
And then-
everything, but what good is it? I mean,
Then you were accused of being too independent.
well, who cares? I don't accuse me of being so what?
Always have that.
I
You're
don't
too
care, I
independent.
like it.
You're too independent. Okay.
How long is this gonna last?
No, we're done.
Okay, good. Can I go?
Now you can write a book
I
about
want-
Christopher Towers.
I want some information.
A friend of mine came to visit a couple of
Well,
weeks ago.
We don't want this.
We met in
Can you give
5th
me a-
grade in school in
write something
Brooklyn.
down?
We've known each other 77 years. And
Okay.
we went up to 5 Points and had lunch and walked around the shops and come back home, and each found a spot and fell asleep. And I said, well, if somebody took a picture, the caption would be, "This is what happens when you're 87 and go to lunch."
Well, my daughter's flying in. She's probably going to the airport in Anchorage as we speak. She'll be here tomorrow night. I haven't seen her for 5 years.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
Yeah, my baby daughter was here last year from Anchorage, and now she's coming in tomorrow night, my middle daughter, so she'll be here through the end of the month with me. She'd love this. She loves to dance. She used to win the disco contests in Alaska when she was in her 20s. Yeah, she loves to disco. Did. I don't think she dances anymore. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to
Oh,
that.
I'm sure. Sure.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, good luck to all of you.
Yeah.